Alright everybody, welcome to another amazing video that's gonna help you take your web development to the next level. In this video, I will be sharing with you a PHP framework which is gonna help you create amazing application for yourself and for your client. And just to prove to you this thing is so amazing is that I am currently using it on my website itself, and I've been using the same framework, PHP framework, that I'm going to share with you for over 3 years. So it has not broken, it has not given me any problems, it just runs smoothly. And I think you're going to be pretty happy with it. So let me just show you how it works. If you haven't really actually been to the website, you can go to codewithmark.com. And once you get there, you get this page. If depending on when you get there, if you're watching this 2 months from now when I recorded it, yeah, the look may be a little different, but behind scene the PHP framework is still the same. So let's say if I go open this up, this is the post, my most recent post that I just posted here. So if I go to navigate it, different things, and it moves pretty damn smoothly and fast. And then if I want to check out my courses, or if you want to check out the courses, you could just go to the codewithmark.com and then click on the courses button. And also I will leave the link in the description for you that you can go take any of the courses that I offer. And then there's a contact. If you have the need to contact me, you could just go on to codewithmark.com and then click on contact, and then fill up this particular form, hit submit, and then I'll be able to get your email. I'll respond back to you. And all of you who have reached out to me, thank you for your emails, and continue to ask me any question that you have. So having said that, let's move on, and I'm gonna show you this particular project that you and I are going to be building it, not more so of the content side of things, but more particularly on the PHP framework side of things, in the sense like how each of these things come in play together when we combine them together. So let's walk through this. So this is actually the homepage, which is the function library that I have created. It's JavaScript, and it also helps you with so many different things in terms of your storage, in terms of jQuery, Bootstrap, and form validation. And then there's also an easy validator that I just added. If you want to check it out, you could just go to awesomefunctions.com, and from there you'll be able to access this. So this is what we're going to be building. So let's go through the same process of going to a different navigation. So if you click on storage, you'll get this page with this thing on the side over here, and let's go to the API, the jQuery, the Bootstrap, so on and so forth. And I'm not going to focus more on the how do you build this content thing. That's not the scope of this particular video. The main scope is to just to teach you, or more importantly, show you how you can use this PHP framework to create your own application. So let's say this is what we are going to be building, right? So let's open up the folder itself and just show you the structure of the folder. And it's pretty straightforward for the most part. You got your index PHP, which is the main thing, which will be right here when you load it up, your main site directly. This is the very, let's not get too confused here, I guess, suppose. And let me close this out. So here it is. So this is going to be the very first file that loads up, and then you got your htaccess file, and then you got your views. And if you have not heard about this PHP framework, or any of the framework for that matter, it's called the model, controller, and view. And when I show you this, you are going to be blown away, because it's a little different, but it's a lot easier because it doesn't have any limitation, and it gives you the greatest flexibility that PHP has to offer. And you can harness all of that power and all the feature and the power things that PHP offers. You can incorporate it into it by default, and you don't need any other plugin. So that makes life a whole lot easier. Trust me, I have used so many different frameworks, and this is my framework that I built there, and this is something that I'm like used it, I live by it, and I have not only just used it on myself, I have used it for other people who have built projects for the same framework. So we got the views, in which basically, if you don't know it and you don't care to know it, you're like, whatever. Views are your HTML, your CSS, your JavaScript. That's where everything lies in here. Your routes are your PHP file. So what that means is this URL, and then when you click on this, it changes to this particular URL. That's a route. That's where all of this is. Basically, routes, the easiest way I can explain to you is your URLs. That's all it is. And then this include function folder, it has a lot of functions that you can utilize, which we are going to go through it. So first, let's just open up our index PHP file for this PHP framework. So in here, you absolutely have to change nothing. You just go through it and leave it alone. And I would recommend, if you are using your website to call API call or REST API calls in PHP, just include this particular line, because that's going to help you get all the data in and out of your server, no problem. So if I were you, I would just leave it alone, everything the way it is. And also, I do want to mention, I know when PHP 8 came along, a lot of frameworks, I'm not talking like a lot of frameworks, including the WordPress and everything else, it broke because there was some kind of a glitch or a bug that PHP, some of them took out, some of them they didn't take out, some of them they added it. It caused a whole bunch of problem. But with this one, I have put this particular code, which is for routing for your URL. It will have no problem handling anything that is above 5.0. And if you are under 7.0, 7.4 to basically under 8, version 8, it's going to have no problem handling all of that. So I have ran it on PHP 7.4.2 and also 8.0 and above, and it works fine. So rest assured, you're future proof. All right, let's move on. So we got your htaccess file. If you are going to be downloading this into your local server, I will recommend just leave this line the way it is. However, if you download it into your local server and you want to use this particular PHP framework into your live server, all you gotta do is just remove this pound. Actually, let me just make it a little bigger so you can see it. So here it is. So if you just remove this pound sign and save it, and it will work. But if you're using the XAMPP, you wanna just leave it in there as a subfolder. So it's maybe a little too big. Right there is good. So maybe you can see it now better. All right, so leave that there, and that's that. So with that said, let's move on to the next part of it. So let's go to your let's go to include first. And in here, it already has a couple of libraries, which is your auto router, which is right over here, auto router, which is something that I have incorporated. And this helps with your routing of your URL. So which means when you have storage here, you have your API, Bootstrap, form validator, and all that stuff. So this is the library that I'm using in here. And then you have your simple sendy, which is like your SendGrid PHP library that I use. And then also this is my database file that I have built myself. So both of these are mine, and this is coming from this gentleman and Danny Van Goten. I don't want to butcher it, so I'll just call him Danny. So Danny is the one who actually built this, and then these two are mine. So let's move on. So if I open up this function, and in here, it's gonna have so many functions, libraries. Well, they're just a regular function. So let's say, I don't know, I'm just gonna open up the, let's say hash one. Right, I think it's a little too big for me. So there's a hash function. You could just literally call this function, put something in here, it will hash it for you and everything else. So basically, it's gonna make your life a whole lot easier. And I'm not gonna go into how to use the functions itself. So let's move on. So, but needless to say, all of these are there. And then in the settings, in here, you could use it if you're using a static website, which we are going to be building, which is a static website. And this is the name of it. If you want to use it, you could declare your global variables. And here I have declared the one global variable called site name, which is awesome function. And then this is the absolute path. What that means is on your server, like for example, on my local computer, I have C, XM, HT, docs, site, awesome function, and this is my path to this. And then within this, if I want to go into this folder and then I want to go into this folder, I could do that. And this is basically what that's saying. This particular global variable assigns to all of this to here. So let's move back forward. And then same thing will happen with your view folder. I just assigned it to a global variable. So if I want to use it later on, I can just literally open this up. Use this global variable in PHP, and if you ever use the global variable, they are a lot easier, a lot better than your Node.js global variables. It makes life a whole lot easier. And then later on, I'm just including like all these different classes and functions and everything else. So nothing major here. So meat and potato of it, you don't have to do anything in here other than creating routes. So let's go to routes. So there's one route file in here. You can obviously include more in there. So if I go back into settings, and let's see, where are my route files? Actually, they're not in there. They're in the index file. So where is it? Settings, there it is. So these are my route file. If you created more routes for whatever reason, you can just paste them in here. Literally just change the route to be like whatever you want to call it. So that's that. So let's go here. Let's go routes. Let's open this up. So this is literally how you get your route set up. Unlike others, this is so simple. So let's say if you are getting a GET request, which means somebody goes to your website right over here and then clicks on this. That's a GET request, which means nothing has to be validated or called for or whatever. So this is going to be your first route, which is just the home page. So within this, I have this view folder, which would be right over here. And then within this view folder, I have my CSS, I have my image file, I have my JS folder, and whatever folder you want to put in here, you can put it right here. So let's look at that home PHP, which would be, where is it? Right over here. So if I open this up, and this could be literally just your regular HTML file you can include in here, but I broke it down into like several different things. So I have my home, and then I have my header being different libraries that I'm including, and then also some of the JavaScript I'm including in here, and then I have also my navigation bar. Where's my top nav right here. So that's all it is. So this is like different button that when someone clicks on it, it takes me to that. So basically what that means is this, and this it. That's where we are right now. And then I'll just close this out, and then the body of it, I just have a regular HTML, and then I have this URL view, which is also in the settings tab. Basically what that means is that I can go to my view, which is right over here, then go into the image, and then this is the file, and I could literally just go and open this up. So if I look at it on the front end side and right click, inspect, and this will give me the direct URL of this. And the beautiful thing about this particular framework, the way I have set up, is for you, if you have your regular HTTP and you want to change it to HTTPS, get ready for this. Unlike your WordPress and other frameworks, you don't have to do anything. It will automatically update it, and you don't have to do anything because all of your URLs for the images, for your CSS, if you include it in here like this, they're all dynamic, which means if you're calling this from HTTP, it's gonna put it as HTTP. If you're calling it for HTTPS, it's gonna put it as HTTPS. So this is why I love this PHP framework. It is so powerful and so flexible. So let's move forward. So this is your static page in here. Like I say, I'm not gonna go too much into it. It's because it's basically very simple. And then at the end, I have this footer. And if I go here, where is the footer? Right over here. But I have nothing in here, so it's gonna give me nothing, right? So wonderful. So if I go here, it's gonna change the page, and then, you know, so on and so forth. So let's go back to our route. I'm gonna close this out. So this is my regular route, which would be the home page. And then after that, which would be /, and then if I go to storage, API, your jQuery, Bootstrap form, and Easy Validator, anytime after the /, which would be like right over here, anything that's get added here, it's going to go and look for that particular route. So I just call this route. If you want, actually, let me go one step further. And how do you actually know it's a route? So in other words, anything that goes after the /, it's going to go in assigned to this particular ID, and then you can call that ID, which would be equivalent to whatever is in here over here, into a route, which I'm doing, which is a route ID. And then I'm just using a PHP in an array function. Basically what that means is, hey, look for this in this array. If it exists, then you go to the appropriate file, which I named it accordingly. So you got your store right over here, you got your PHP API, so on and so forth. And then if it cannot find it in the array, then I'm just gonna throw a 404 page, which would be right over here. So let's check this out. So right now, if I go to the next one, let's say if I decided to put like 1, 2, 3, and then hit enter, it's like, oh crap, I can't find it. Like, that's great, right? So that was that. And that's what's happening here. And like I said before, if you have this route, you can literally use your database to get the route information out of this. And if you want to, like, hey, I want to know more about how do I change the URLs and everything else, there's this library right here. Like I said before, I'm using it in my PHP framework, and this one is 5.3 and upward, and it makes it compatible with what I added to this particular PHP framework up to 8 and onwards. So let's say if we go to this URL, which I will leave a link in the description for you, and let's go to install, and I think it's the next one and the next one, which is right over here. So let's say if you want to match anything, these are matches. Basically what that means is anything after the /, you could say alphanumeric, or only add integer here, and then it's going to be alphanumeric, or it's going to be a decimal thing. There's like so many different varieties over. You can go to it and read it. I'm not going to go too much into it, but in long story short, this is the framework that I have used, that I just showed you. It is extremely powerful, and also I have used it on my website, not just one website, but several different websites. And then, you know, you go and check it out. I'm going to leave the link in the description for you, so that way you could download it. Give me your feedback as to what you think of this, and then if you would consider using it. If you are, give it a whirl. I think you're really going to find this particular PHP framework helpful and easy to use. And unlike your other framework, I'm telling you, if you want to upload anything on your website, let's say for example, you click on this button. I don't know, I'm just gonna make something here. You click on this button, and then you send the information over to your this right here. And over here, you don't have to do anything fancy, in the sense of, if you want to upload a file, you would just do it like any other PHP way you normally would do it. You just write in the code of PHP, upload, and then move file from location A to location B, and that's that. And you don't have to have a third-party plugin to tell you like you need to do this. And it's extremely helpful when it comes to that, because like I said before, you are going to have the power of the raw PHP, which has a lot of stuff in there, and then also custom libraries if you want to include in there. So you don't have to have additional library because your PHP by itself has so much to offer you and your application. So give this a try. And if you have any questions, just go to my website, which would be codewithmark.com. And then click on contact, send me your feedback. Let me know what you think of this. And if there's another video that you want me to create in regards to this, I'll be more than happy to create it because I really want you guys to create something that's going to be awesome. I'll talk to you in the next video. Until then, as I always say, what do I always say? Happy coding, guys.